Catus, Maximus here. This is just a quick video just to cover tools by a brand that you don't see very often. That's LectroLite. They're actually a company that kind of started out way back in the 1930s. The gentleman associated with founding it was automotive parts and that type of stuff. And then through some funky history and some merging and buying out of other smaller companies out of, I believe, Wisconsin, they started coming out with some various hand tools. So this is obviously just a regular set of slip joint pliers, just like the infamous diamond tools version. These really aren't too bad. They're not made the best just because they didn't do a very good job of grinding off the flashing. But they are pretty thick, pretty rigid. Not a lot else to say. 6-inch. Part number that makes sense. 6N. And for people who don't know, these types of tools are super simple to manufacture because you don't have two separate dies when you're making these. They are actually just making a whole bunch of one side, and then they just put different broaching. One is a slip joint broaching on one of the sides. The other side just has a double D. That way the center pin stays in place when you're moving the jaw. You can actually get the slip joint action to work. And if these things are ever loose or too tight, you can just adjust the nut. This is a prevailing torque nut, so they've actually crushed the nut a little bit so that it's really stiff and doesn't want to self-loosen. So anyway, these seem, like a regular set of old school pliers. Once again, not sure when these were made. Although in the 50s and 60s, there was a bit of association with LectroLite and SK Tools, so maybe SK Tools made these for LectroLite, maybe LectroLite made pliers for SK, not entirely sure. But did want to make a video about the LectroLite pliers just because it brings a little bit more attention to it. One thing I thought was amusing, there's a big old burr here, and this isn't from use. This is from when they were using the broach to machine, or cutter, however else they were machining the jaw. It just was really dull, and was actually pulling over a pretty good curl of metal there. The other side is just fine. Other than that, it was a decent set of, slip joint pliers, as useful as they are. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.